Hey Pokemon people, Cage Slink here. How are we doing? So there's so many meta decks out there to build, and what I'd like to do is try and find underrated cards which you can kind of build around, especially for 3-2 players, as this game it can take you a while to build that meta deck like Mewtwo, Charizard, Pikachu. There's loads of meta decks out there, so unless you've been really lucky, it's great having some cards which you can take out there and win against some of these meta decks. So I'm just going to go through 3 that I found at the moment are fun and underrated. First up, we've got Kangaskhan from the first generation of Pokemon. Now with his Dizzy Punch that does 30 damage for each head you get with a flip of 2 coins. Now this card is a high risk but high reward, as you can finish a round with no hits, but at the same time you can be hitting 60 each round, which with a couple of rounds it will be taking down a lot of Pokemon. The great thing with this guy is that it only costs 1 energy, so it's perfect for getting placed on the active first, and then you can start taking down as many as you can while you build up a team on the bench. The other great thing, he has 100 HP, so he can take some punches himself from the early evolved cards from the opposition. The only downside is that it's a free to retreat, so unless you can get like an X potion and take it down to 2, or you're just going to leave him there in the active spot just to take as much damage and do as much damage to the opponent until he dies, and then you can bring on that card that you've been building up from the bench. And next up we have Lickitung, which is the lollipop-like Pokemon from the original 151. He debuted in Pokemon Red and Blue, but in Pokemon Pocket it's so fun to use and you can do absolute crazy damage. With the continuous lick, it does 60 damage for each heads of the coin you flip, and it only stops when you get tails. So there is some luck involved, but you can do no damage. But at the same time, if you need to get 2 coins that are flipped up heads, that's like 120 damage, which can take down a lot of cards out there. It's free energy, so it does take a little to build up, and it has 90 HP, so it can take a few hits, but the potential damage is like unlimited. The best I got was like 7 coins, which dealt like 420, which is a crazy overkill. But if you're doing that to your opponents, they'll be so mad that you're going to kill off one of their great Pokemon like Mewtwo or Charizard in one hit with this like basic Pokemon. So it's so fun to use. Again, very high risk, but this Pokemon has such a high reward once you start flipping them coins. And finally we have Chinchino, who actually was a Pokemon that was introduced in Generation 5. Now this Pokemon does take 1 evolution to be made, so you will need Minchino in your deck. But once you have Chinchino, he is like a Pikachu alternative. You can do the wave attack, as it's called, which does 30 damage for each of your benched Pokemon, and it can be any Pokemon. That's the great thing about this card. Once you have a full bench, this fluffy cream coloured creature, he will be doing 90 damage each time, which is a pretty decent couple of rounds. You'll be killing most. It's free energy, so you do need to build him up a little. But for a basic Pokemon, it's pretty cool, and its HP at 90 is a decent amount also. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to check out some of my other videos, and also hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Take care, bye bye.